This Call of Duty League season and this Call of Duty in general has been a struggle for a lot of pro players out there, and they continue to make that very apparent. Now, several weeks back, we talked about Scump, talking about competitively this being one of the, if not the worst Call of Duties of all time. We also had this past week, Karma retiring from Call of Duty, saying he lost motivation during this title, sick of the MP5 meta. He was actually losing motivation and love for the game over several titles, but this one was also included. This past weekend, several Call of Duty pros continuing to bash the game and the league, and I would say for justifiable reasons. Aqua was one of them. I could not screenshot his tweet in time. He actually had a tweet out there calling for pro players to take a seat back and sit back from playing this game. TJ also leading this tweet as well, saying, of course, in Vaughn we trust, alluding to the fact of maybe future Call of Duties being better than this one. We also had people like Scraps and Censor and Temp also give their 2 cents as Call of Duty pro players continue to make it very apparent they hate this current Call of Duty, and it does have, well, several issues, not only pertaining to the game, but also to the league. First of all, we'll talk about Temp, guys. He himself, just blatant statement, pretty much stating that a lot of pro players are not currently playing the game. As he said, it's so pathetic. I'm about to start exposing people. I can't even play a 10 series. Doug actually replies saying, now you know how I felt for months. And Temp says, what? LMAO. With Doug's predicament, I do not know. But clearly, a pretty poor response there, I would say. It still does not take away from the overall issue, though, that both Censor went through and now Temp is going through of pro players just not playing. Even Crimsix replies to that, saying he's been dying to play. So apparently pro players are maybe just not hopping on in their free time. I say Scraps probably has one of the better statements and not deleted over this past weekend, as he also took to Twitter, saying people need to be held accountable for all these little things and how bad the game is straight up. The game should be far better than they are. Instead, they're just getting worse year after year. Ain't said crap on here about this beforehand, but crap needs to change. But he also did continue on, I think very rightfully so, in a great post as well. He said, that's my rant for the day. Bigger stuff is going on in the world. Make sure you're all doing your part, helping your black brothers and sisters, donating, spreading awareness. Don't be silent. Don't stop. And that in itself is a super smart post because, of course, what's going on here in America, also striking news worldwide as well. The protest, the Black Lives Matter movement, that in itself, you know, obviously he did not have to do that. And yes, he does not want to take away from bigger issues going on. But the big issue when it comes to time for Call of Duty is all of these pro players being very, very open and public about their hate and dismay for this game. And very lastly, to bounce off this, off the several pros we've already talked about, we even talked about via Hardpoint's podcast last week, you know, people being very upset, rightfully so, about the lack of meta changes. You know, weapon balances out there. We're stuck in this MP5 meta, and we have been all season long. Yes, a few pro players out there teasing the Uzi, but probably not even going to change to it entirely. And then, of course, when it comes time for actual fixes being made in the game, that list goes on and on and on, and those fixes have not been made either, which does greatly affect the league, which is already online and having its own issues for being online, which we already know about. So it's pretty crazy. The disarray we are seeing right now in Call of Duty is really incomparable to other esports scenes. As other esports scenes move online, the complaints continue in time for Call of Duty. And it looks like after Champs, I mean, already so, though, as Champs slowly approaches a few more events on the way, people are already looking towards next season. And all we can do now is what? Cross our fingers and hope next year gets better. And does it get worse? At this point, it's tough to know. So what do you guys think about this? Until next time, though, hope you guys all enjoy. You know what to do. Stay hydrated. Drink the water. Drink the Ka. I'll see you guys back here next time. For all you Call of Duty viewers out there, tons of videos coming out this week. So thank you all for the support and love. Until next time, take care. Okay, bye.